On today's Banzai Beats,
welcome to the world of Street Fighter 3. Prepare for battle.
One box could leave you messed up and fractured. Block these uppercuts, they may leave you captured. May the best fighter win and win again. Battle to the top.
Welcome back everyone to another segment of Banzai Beats. I'm your host Ryan, and this is a smaller podcast in between our bigger talks over on Banzai Chat. This is where I like to go over and check out the music sides of video games and other pop culture. And I'm going to keep it to the streets this time and move on from the last episode, which was Street Fighter 2, and continue to the next game, which of course is Street Fighter 3. Now let's cut to the chase and dive into this gem of a game.
Select to make your first pick. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Choose and pick the best one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Street Fighter 3, or Third Strike, which I'll be referring to a lot in this podcast, came out in the arcades in 1997, leaving players waiting for a new Street Fighter for a whole 6 years with just Street Fighter 2, which isn't so bad. But with all the new next gen of consoles and games coming out, showing off new eye-popping graphics and gameplay, fans I'm sure were fighting the itch on what Capcom was going to do next for their beloved franchise, Street Fighter. Well, you know what they say, all good things come for those who wait. This wait was well worth it.
Yeah, I've been waiting for this.
Prepare for the battle, prepare for the war, prepare for the real street fight and blood war. The third of the third, prepare to die for. Your life's on the line, so I'ma take yours. So who wanna blood dance with me? Did your body wrapped up or even a
Street Fighter 3 was a brass knuckle punch to the face, leaving people asking the question, is this even Street Fighter anymore? This was a mighty big switch for Street Fighter fans to see, but what they were going to experience would impact their fighting styles for years to come. Street Fighter 3 would scrap it all, bringing a whole new roster and look to the game that would really make it feel like a full-blown anime street fight. With some new faces, from the well-mannered English boxer, Dudley, to the Kung Fu brothers, Yun and Yang, to the more what-the-fuck characters like Hugo, 12, Q, and oh yeah, this guy, Oro. Of course, they still keep some familiar faces, because this is Street Fighter we're talking about. They also introduced the famous parry system, which will go down in fighting game history because of this special Evo moment. If you're just listening, this is the 2004 Daigo vs. Justin Wong parry video. Definitely check it out. Capcom really broke out a lot of boxes with this one, which is why most Street Fighter fans hold this game up in such high regards. It also steps up in its music as well, which is another big reason why I'm talking about this, of course. From moving to new hardware with the next-gen consoles, composers Hideaki Fukukawa and Yuki Iwa wanted to really give this game its own charm and feel with its soundtrack. Hideaki wanted to mix jazz and rap beats that would give Street Fighter 3 the more urban back alley city vibes you would get from some of the tracks. He also would reach out and collaborate with Toronto underground rapper Infinite, being the first time in the Street Fighter series to actually have a musical artist sampling in the tracks. This is very important because you cannot talk about Street Fighter 3 without saying some of Infinite's famous lines. Well, at least I can.
That's what I expected.
They would still keep up with the theme just like in Street Fighter 2 by also creating music that would represent the characters and their backgrounds. From the drum-based beats of the capoeira ass-kicking princess Elena with the track Beats in My Head. to the hyper martial artist Makoto and her techno dojo beat Spunky, which is another good way to describe her as well. Street Fighter 3rd Strike even to this day has some of my favorite sprite designs, stages, and gameplay, even though I'm still a lower tier type player. It's just one of those 2D fighting games that really nailed it in a lot of ways. And just like myself, it took a long time for people to really catch on to how special this game actually was. It is very cool to see most of the Street Fighter 3 roster that has been updated and brought to the more recent Street Fighter 4 and 5 games. It shows how much the fans really enjoy the game, and that there are more iconic characters than just Ryu and Chun-Li. 3rd Strike really changed it up for the old Street Fighter template, which always takes a lot of guts, I think. I really feel like it showed to the fans how Street Fighter could evolve into a more fantastic fighting game that we never thought could be possible. And that's it for today's Banzai Beats. Thanks again for checking out the podcast, and don't forget to like and subscribe and follow on all of our social media. Check us out over at askbanzaichat.com, where you can find every way to support the podcast. I'm your host, Ryan, and I'll see you all next time.
We await your return, warrior.